Hey everyone, this is Richard from Unboxing NoCode. Today I'm going to be unboxing some new features pushed out by Airtable recently, about in the past couple days or so. Airtable, if you're not familiar, is basically a spreadsheet on steroids. So it's kind of a cross between Excel and a database. So basically you can have all these different tables and you can also put different types of elements in each cell as well. So far Airtable has mostly been in that whole kind of like database spreadsheet kind of world. But recently they announced in their blog post that they've just launched a few new features that are supposed to kind of bring Airtable to the next level. So I'm thinking right now that I'm probably going to record maybe 3 separate videos to focus on each part or each major feature that they implemented. But based on this blog post, there are a few key things. One is this Airtable Apps section, where it says that you can now create applications with the precise functionality and design that you want. These apps are based in JavaScript, and they're saying that even hobbyist developers can piece together their own apps from over 1 million open source JavaScript modules. So I'm very curious to see what kind of capabilities we have on that end. You can also turn your apps and share them, make them shareable and add them to a marketplace where I imagine people can also even potentially sell their Airtable apps in the future as well. So that's the Airtable app section. And then the second one is Airtable automations. From what I can tell, this is basically Airtable building in Zapier-like functionalities, like if this, then that, into their product. Let me just double check. Yeah, they've got their triggers and their actions just like Zapier. And it seems like as this no-code space is kind of evolving, you're seeing a lot more overlap across the different products. So I'll be very curious to see, like, for example, a lot of my workflows right now use Airtable and Zapier, but the more that Airtable can do in natively, maybe the less I'll be using Zapier. But who knows? Let's really see how things get implemented. And then finally, the third thing that they've implemented is this thing called Airtable Sync. So if I understand this correctly, it's basically you can have different tables or databases or bases. I forget exactly the terminology in Airtable, but basically you can have 2 different versions of it. But then with Airtable Sync, it seems like you can kind of keep the data in sync. So I would imagine like if your project management team is using one table and then your marketing team wants to see when certain things change, then you can sync those 2 tables together. That's a quick overview. I mean, I'll include a link to this blog post article. Today is September 16th, and this was pushed out 2 days ago on the 14th. So this is still pretty fresh. Let me go ahead and jump in. So I just created a new Airtable account. This is obviously not my first time using Airtable. I've been using Airtable for a long time. This walkthrough or this unboxing is really designed around these new features. So specifically, I think my focus right now for this video 1 will be to focus on unboxing the whole app kind of functionality and see what's possible over there. Okay, so I just created a brand new account. It says I've been selected for our creator plan. This sounds great. Saving some money, and I get access to all these wonderful things. So let's go ahead and continue. This is the onboarding flow. I have experience with databases and software development. I have experiences with databases. Let's go with that. It's probably a little bit more descriptive of my experience. How would you prefer to get started? I'm just curious about Airtable and looking around. I'd like to join my existing team, build something of my own. Let's just click on this first one. And let's just say just me. Oh gosh. What are you hoping to use Airtable for? Let's do that. I don't know yet. All right. What would you like to name your workspace? Richard's space. Okay. Create workspace. I haven't done this onboarding flow in a while, so it's very interesting to see and discover what you and your team can do with Airtable to learn more. I'm going to skip this for now. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Let me move my head over here. So I can import a project. So this is basically if I have an existing spreadsheet elsewhere in some other format, like a CSV, Excel, etc. My workspace is already pre-populated with some of their templates. They've got, on the left-hand side, workspaces. I can add workspace, I can delete workspaces, and learning and resources all here laid out. Okay, on the top nav, we have the bases. We've got templates. What's that look like? So basically, templates are pre-configured templates, if you will, to give people a good starting point on how to use Airtable. I think a lot of these no-code tools run into this problem where the tool is so flexible that their users can do so many things with it, but getting over that blank sheet of paper kind of first start is difficult. So if you notice, a lot of these tools are starting to build out templates that you can start from. So the marketplace, I think that's what this blog post mentioned. Analyze, enrich, and take action on your data with Airtable Apps. Okay, so this is the section that I was interested in. Page designer, design a template page for your records, visualize your project timeline, and they've got scripting. So that's probably just, I guess you can straight up code. You've got apps by Airtable. You've got apps by other guys. So I guess you can install these apps. And we've got apps, open source apps on GitHub. What's that look like? I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. Okay, let's go back. Apps by Airtable. So these are just different ways to view it. Let's go back to that featured. So these are kind of the shortened list, and then you can see, gotcha, view all apps. Okay. I'm probably gonna come back here, but let's check out Universe just in case. Explore, discover, and share your passion. This, I believe, seems like maybe it's community created templates. Let's click on one of these. Let's click on this. Yeah, this person, Helen here, created this, and we can copy the base over. See if I can explore it, see what it looks like. Cool. So this is it. And then got a Kanban view. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this looks like it's just community generated bases as a starting point as templates. Let's close this tab and copy that base. Let's go back. I want to go back to this marketplace. Very curious to see what's possible here. So let's click on Apps by Airtable. Let's assume that the ones that they are supporting have the most support. Let's do URL preview. What's this look like? Sure, we've got it in my space, project tracker. Okay. Welcome to the project tracker template. Use this template to make even the most complex projects manageable. We can install it at the high-level dashboard or the scripts. Let's install it in the high-level dashboard. All right, let's see how this loads. Select a cell to see a preview. View supported URLs. Okay, I'm going to close that out. I don't really get it. So let me see. This is an Airtable base. Let's skip this. Okay, so I actually haven't used, I think this used to be called Blocks. I haven't really played with that before. Let me head over there. So summary block shows the earliest coming deadlines. Okay, so we have different apps, projects per person, project timeline. So we can create customized dashboards here. What I'm looking for is this URL preview. Okay. select a cell to view preview. Okay, let's move this down here. And I don't see a URL column. So let's just go ahead and add that. These are different projects, and then each project has a category and all these different attributes: complete or not complete, project images, etc. All right, let's do a URL. URL, hit enter, save. Okay, let's just grab, maybe we can just put one in. Google.com. Does that work? The URL field is empty. Of which one though? That's strange. Let's be supported. We're supported for these services: Figma, SoundCloud, Spotify, Loom share links, Google Drive links. So it can't just be a random URL. Okay. Let us go to a Vimeo. Vimeo video. Let's grab all right. Just trying to grab a video, guys. Let's click on this one here, Together Alone. And let's grab that URL. Let me drop it in here. My internet seems to be super slow right now. Okay. Cool, so there's the URL preview. And if I click on a different cell, it no longer shows. Okay, so URL preview just shows on the cell that is selected. Okay. Projects in progress. How does this work? Okay, let's see if there's other apps. Install an app. Let's see what this looks like. Timeline. So these are all pre-built apps that you can just install on this kind of right side column. So I'm curious. Okay, so these are the different projects it looks like. Zoom in and zoom out. I can do start date field. Okay. Please make this bigger full screen so I have to see it in this view. Okay, so this basically plots the different projects onto a timeline, and it's based on the start date, I believe. Let's double check that. Start date field, due date, kickoff date. Due date. Okay. End date is due date. Okay, so then that's how you can get a whole bar chart. All right, so it looks like you can have how do I understand this? So we have our base, we have our different tables. Within the table, you have different views of that data. And then over here, you have this, I think it's kind of like a dashboard that sits on top. No, they're calling this one particularly a dashboard, which basically at a meta level can provide some sort of analysis. So if you have projects, then that would make sense. You want to see some analytics on top of those projects. So you can talk about, like, you can chart different types of charts. You can you can view a video. Where is it? You can view a video snippet. You can have timeline overview. Okay, so you can have all these different applications. Now I'm curious what they were kind of talking about. So you've got this. Okay, let's go here. Let's build a custom app. What's this look like? Custom apps developer access. Oh, it's interesting. So you have to apply to get access to create your own custom applications. All right, so we've got all of these things, and then these are the things that Airtable created. So let's see this. Send emails to contacts. Just want to see what that looks like. We can install that over here. Okay, get started. Sign up for SendGrid, get an API key, put an API key in here. Okay, I don't have that at the moment. So I guess theoretically you'd just be able to put that in, and then maybe there's like a send button or something. Okay. It's a little bit difficult to kind of see the value in these, to be honest. I mean, I'm also playing around. I don't have a specific use case, so maybe that's part of it. But yeah, I'm curious what they expect the onboarding to look like for this particular functionality. I mean, there's a bunch of different things here. Trying to understand how I can kind of quickly try what's possible. Welcome to Typeform. Create a Typeform or import responses. I think I have a Typeform account. All right, I'm not going to do this right now. I really wish I could like get going with some value, show you guys something. Okay, let's see what other people have made. We've got Miro. So I guess all these different third-party applications can create apps, and you can add them over here. Schedule reservations for people, rooms, or equipment. Let's see what this looks like. Now, if all of these things require me to log in with their app, then it might be a little bit problematic. Okay, well, let's see. We've got just do clients, view all clients, projects. This block will use the table design projects for reservation details, due date. Let's switch those, kickoff date and due date. Hit done. Click the plus button or select records in the all clients view. So I can grab one of these projects, put it in, and it'll cover the whole thing. Okay, so how do I understand this? So basically what it sounds like is Airtable is now allowing, rather than just supporting their own apps that they've created, I think these used to be called blocks, like these things here. They've now opened it up to third-party developers or companies to create apps that you can embed in here that interact with your database, if I understand that correctly. If I'm technical enough, it sounds like I need to code in some way. I can build my own custom application that I can in turn share it on this marketplace to add things. I mean, right now, I suppose I could see that this is kind of their way of, it's like the bubble, or not the bubble, it's the Airtable marketplace for applications that can kind of sit on top of the database. So if you think about Airtable as a database and you want to add other functionalities to say, I mean, in the simplest form, like view dashboards or some stuff like that on top of the database, you can use some of these apps. And basically what Airtable is trying to do is turn this into a whole ecosystem where similarly to any company that's integrating with Zapier to connect with other applications, you can create an Airtable app and offer functionality to your users that connects directly with the Airtable database. So rather than going through an in-between like Zapier, you can actually just integrate that straight in. That's how I understand it. I would have to dig in a little bit deeper, actually integrate some of my tools here and see how it goes. Actually, I'm gonna pause this video real quick. Hey, I'm back. So I went ahead and connected my type form, and I'm gonna try to connect my workspace. Sure, this is a project I was working on before. Let's see what this is about. Field mapping, what's your name? Just put everything in. Name. Okay. Let's just do this for now. So the field mapping, these are from my type form, and then this is the field in my database. It doesn't really make sense because these are projects rather than, in this situation, it's like people and their submissions. Only import new responses. Let's go ahead and import all the responses. Okay, let's jump back into here, go down to the bottom, and we can see, okay. So these are all my type form responses, as you can see, started here. Gotcha. So basically, this is what's happening. Typeform, it's what I had thought. So Typeform created an Airtable application that can basically send all Airtable, all Typeform responses to an Airtable base. So rather than using something like Zapier to connect Typeform responses and send them over to Airtable, Airtable is trying to offer that functionality in-house. And the way they're doing it is they're letting these third-party applications connect and offer these various services, which is actually pretty cool. I mean, it's tough for Zapier because that's starting to cut them out of the loop. And I imagine when I record the automations video, we'll see more of that if this, then that kind of functionality. But so far, I think it's pretty neat. I think that Airtable it's a cool direction. I didn't really think about this actually before, but I think it's a neat way to, I mean, once companies are actually putting the data into a house via Airtable, then they can start to actually do interesting things on top of it. So whether that's getting more data into the database, like this Typeform integration, or visualizing the database on top using some of these, using these graphing functionalities, then I think that there's a lot of customization that you can do. In terms of onboarding, I'm still a bit, it wasn't super apparent to me what was going on with these apps. It's also a bit weird that the view is to the right side of it and they kind of like share screen real estate. Like in a way, I'm thinking about it more as like a higher level abstraction of a specific base. So that is a little bit jarring to me from a usability standpoint, but I get where they're going. I get that they want to basically offer all this additional functionality on top of the database, which is pretty neat. And so I'm curious to see how this evolves over time. I think that's all I've got for today. And this is Airtable with their latest Airtable Apps feature that they released. And stay tuned. There's a couple more videos that I'll record. One is on covering automations, and then the other one is to see how their Airtable sync works as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll add links in the YouTube video. All right, thanks guys.